Hi, it's Fazana here. Welcome to part 3 of the direct and inverse proportion topic. Please watch parts 1 and 2 before watching this video. The questions get progressively trickier, so follow the process, okay? Let's do some questions, but before, let's just have a recap. If two quantities are in direct proportion, as one increases, the other increases by the same percentage. So if y is in direct proportion to x, yeah, then you can write y equals kx. If y is in direct proportion to the square of x, so we write kx squared. If they say y is in direct proportion to the square root of x, we'd write k square root of x. Okay? Inversely proportional is when one increases, the other value decreases. So if y is inversely proportional to x, we write y equals k over x. If y is inversely proportional to the square of x, we'd write y equals k over x squared. If they said y is inversely proportional to the cube root of x, so we'd write k over x cubed. Okay, so the k always stays at the top. Okay, let's do some questions now. Okay, the force F newtons exerted by a magnet on a metal object is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Okay, so all we do first is write F equals, it's inversely proportional, so k over the square of the distance. Okay, yeah, all right, so just that makes you feel in control. Then what they'll do is they'll give you the values of d and f, and you have to find k. Okay, so let's stick them in. So that means 50 equals k over 2 squared. Yeah, and if you remember my Faz format of 3 equals 6 divided by 2, k will be that times that. So k equals 50 times 2 squared, which is 4, so that would be 100. Okay, so when it says express f in terms of d, we've got f equals, and now we know what k is, 200 over d squared. Okay, and that's what you work with. Okay, so even if they haven't asked you this question, always rewrite it showing the value of k, so when the other questions come, you can actually use that. Yeah, okay, so find the force. So we're trying to find F when the distance is 10. Okay, so we'll go stick that in. So F equals 200 over 10 squared, which is 200 divided by 100, which gives you 2. Okay, so that was easy. Yeah. Find the distance, so we want to find d when the force is 8. So again, using that formula, we go 8 equals 200 over d squared. Okay, so using the Faz format of 3 equals 6 divided by 2, then d squared would be 200 divided by 8, which is 25, and then d is the square root of 25, which is 5. Okay, so that would be 5. Yeah, and let's just put our newtons. And that will be centimeters. Okay, it says explain what happens to F when d is halved. Okay, all right. How can we check? Let's just play around a bit. We can see when d was 2, then f was 50, yeah, from there. Okay, when d was 10, f was 2, and when D was 5, then F was 8. Okay, so here we've actually got a thing when D is halved. So can you see when it's halved, when it's divided by 2, F actually multiplies by 2 squared. And the reason it does the opposite is because it's inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Yeah, so it multiplies by 2 squared. Okay, yeah, so times 2 squared. And let's just check it here. Yeah, so here we're just checking. We half the 2. Yeah. Okay, so D is 1, so F will be 200 divided by 1 squared, which is just 1, so it would be 200. And you can see that. So that was divided by 2, and that was multiplied by 2 squared, which is times 4, which is 200. Okay, yeah, all right. Cool. And that way you know you've achieved all 5 marks of this question. Yeah, you've like checked it all. All right. Okay. So sometimes when you finish the whole question, all the questions in the exams, and you're checking, this is a brilliant way of checking this question. Just take the values and see that it's actually following this rule. All right. Good. Okay. Next question. The time taken T for passengers to check in for a flight is inversely proportional to the square. So again, it's the same, yeah? So you've got T equals K over S squared. Okay, good. It takes 30 minutes for the passengers to be checked in when 10 staff are working. So T is 30. And again, we're trying to find K. And we've got 10 staff. So you've got 10 squared. So K will be that times that. So K is 30 times 100, which is 10 squared. So you've got 30 followed by 2 more zeros. Yeah, so it's 3,000. So we have to find an equation. We go T equals 3,000 divided by S squared. So that's our equation. Yeah? Okay. What is the minimum number of staff that must be working so that the time taken is under 60 minutes? Okay, so what I would do, I'd say 3,000 divided by S squared has to be less than 60. Okay? When I'm trying to do this, I always sort of do my calculations on the assumption that if it was equals, what would I do? So if it was equals, then again, we've got this format of 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So we'd multiply by S squared to get rid of the denominator. So we get 3,000 is less than, but we'll carry that sign. So we've got 60S squared. We'll divide by 60. So we've got 50 is less than S squared. And we'll square root it. And we'll get 7.07 is less than S. Yeah? So you can, if we turn it around, so that means X would have to be greater than 7.07. Okay? And if we're looking for the minimum number of staff, we know it has to be greater than 7. So we're saying S has to be 8. Yeah? So we're actually going up. Okay? Let's just check it now that we're not in an exam and we can actually check. But again, check it if you've got the time, if you've finished all the questions. So let's just check if S was 8. Then T would be 3,000 divided by 8 squared, which would give you 46.9. So you can see the time taken is under 60 minutes. Yeah. But if you took s equals 7, then t would be 3000 divided by 7 squared, which would have given you 61.2. So that's not under 60 seconds. So you can tell that one's right. Yeah, so s equals 8. All right, good. Okay, feeling confident? Let's move on. Okay, this one's quite an interesting one because it's quite different. Yeah, but again, just go with what you know about it and start writing, and everything else will fall into place. So for this first one here, A is directly proportional to the square of C. So A equals K square root of C, as simple as that. Yeah? W is inversely proportional to A cubed. So W equals K over A cubed. Okay? Yeah? Then it says when C is 49, A is 35. When A is 2, W is 16. Okay, so let's put those in. So in that first one, A is 35 equals K, and then the square root of 49. Okay, so 35 equals 7K, so K equals 5. Yeah, 7 times 5. Okay, in the second one, A is 2, W is 16, so 16 equals K over A squared, so 2 cubed, which is 8, so K equals 16 times 2 cubed, which gives you 128. Okay, yeah, so let's rewrite it. So we've got 1 again, so A equals 5 square root of C, and 2, W equals 128 over A cubed. Okay, so these are what we're going to work with. Right, find the value of W when C is 4. Okay, so we go stick that in there. So in 1, we go A equals 5 square root of 4, which is 5 times 2, which is 10. And then we go stick in the value of A into there to find W. So W equals 128 over 10 cubed, which is 128 over 1,000, which gives you 0.128. Okay? Can you see how this question looked really different from all the others that we've done? And yet, as long as you sort of just follow it, that's all you really need to know. And then once you've got through that stage, then it's just about putting the numbers. All right, yeah? Manageable. Okay, a pendulum of length L has time period t seconds. T is directly proportional to the square root of L. Okay, so as soon as I've read that, can you see sometimes there can be so many words, but all you're picking up is just directly proportional and square root. Yeah? So T directly proportional to the square root of L. Okay, yeah. The length of the pendulum is increased by 40%. Work out the percentage increase in the time period. Okay? Okay, so if it's increased, then let's make L1 100. And then when we try L2, it'll be plus 40%. Yeah, so it will be 140. Okay, and I'm just making up a value for k, and k, it's just 2 is just such a nice friendly number. Okay, all right, so let's go try what t1 would be. So we'd have 2 and then the square root of 100, and that would be 2 times 10, which is 20. Okay, t2, sticking in the value of L2, but k stays exactly the same, so k is dot 2. So you've got 2 times the square root of 140, and that would give you 23.664. Okay, now we need to find the percentage increase. So you know the percentage increase is the increase divided by the original times 100. So we've got 23.664 minus the 20 divided by the original, which is the 20, times 100, and you get 18.32%. Okay, a really good tip. Anytime we're talking about percentages, and if you have to make up numbers in order to actually see the logic behind it, then always use the 100. Yeah, because chances are things will just sort of fall out into place. All right, yeah, good. I hope you found those useful. As I said, if you found any of these questions a little confusing, keep watching it until it really gels in your mind, because if something similar comes in the exam, then you'll be in control totally. Yeah? Okay, I hope this all resulted in an abundance of knowledge and confidence. Okay, now let me go work on another topic so I can upload those. Yeah, so see you soon. Remember, you're in control. Until next time, take care. Bye.